What hero, good guy is actually pretty horrible.
Goku always wants to fight his enemies at their best and is lenient when it comes to the really evil ones who would destroy the planet they're fighting on without hesitation. That dude's a jackass. The Jedi Order. They kidnap kids from an early age to make sure they can form normal sentient attachments and brainwash them, essentially build an army of child soldiers, Padawans, try to downplay the importance of balancing emotions and also somehow think it's more civilized to dismember someone with a laser sword as opposed to just shooting them and being done with it. Batman. Instead of investing his billions to improve the situation of Gotham, so crime doesn't become a viable alternative for all the goons the supervillains constantly conscript, he'd much rather go out all night while wearing his tights in order to beat them up to feel better about his dead parents. It's as if Bill Gates refused to donate all his money to charity and instead went to Africa to kick the starving children. Aladdin. He's driven by self-interest, wanting Jasmine and to live in a palace. There's only a couple of moments of real goodness, like giving those kids bread and freeing the genie, but otherwise he treats Abu and Genie like tools a lot, lies a lot, and manipulates people around him. Albus Dumbledore. He literally dropped off a 1-year-old at his aunt and uncle's house, and didn't check in once to make sure it was going well. Just forgot about him for 10 years. And how does the fact the letters were addressed to the cupboard under the stairs not concern him? He doesn't tell Harry anything? He's just like, hey Harry, yeah I know you're 16-17 but can you find these Horcruxes, and kill Voldemort? Like no. This is not okay. He also was power-hungry at one point. He abandoned his sister, to the point that she eventually died. I just can't with Dumbledore. Spider-Man. While he is a good-hearted hero, he doesn't finish off his villains because of his morals, which causes more innocent people to die. Imagine how much suffering wouldn't happen if he let Green Goblin or Carnage die. Neo and the other guys from the Matrix. In the backstory, the machines are pretty much minding their own business. They imprison the human race in self-defense, and even provide them with a world they can be happy in and not even know the difference from their real lives. Then these terrorists come along and want to destroy everyone's quality of life by kicking them out of the simulation. These people didn't choose to come out and they were doing just fine. They're dooming them to a sweaty, gross, subterranean life on Zion. General Douglas MacArthur. He was the main general commanding the U.S. forces in the Pacific during World War II, but he was a fucking psychopath. He saved the U.S. from Jap forces, but during the Korean War he wanted to drop 50 nukes on the Chinese-North Korean border so that it would create a radiation field that no one could pass through. No care for civilian life or life at all. Just nukes. Superman. He believes he's above being held accountable, destroys entire city blocks with little to no regard to the people in the buildings of said city blocks, and does nothing to help those people unless he can be praised as a god. Someone needs to stop his self-righteousness. In my mother's opinion, Siegfried from Wagner's The Ring of the Nibelung. She says he's an unpleasant narcissistic guy and even kind of a rapist that doesn't deserve to be treated as a hero. Personally, I would say that in his defense that it's the archetype of a medieval hero, who were just the strongest warriors, not the best ones morally, and also that story features many specific things like magic or predestination. However, it is true that he is still not the best kind of hero, nor the best character of that opera. Elliot Stabler. Guy routinely beats people up, uses physical intimidation to gain information or confessions, whether he has proof of them committing a crime or not. I think cops think they're being noble, like him, but in actuality they're both just people making assumptions and then validating their abuse and harassment with those assumptions. Agent K had some questionable moments. In the first Men in Black, he blew Jeebs' head off to prove to Jay that aliens were real. Even if having his head blown off didn't cause any permanent harm and he was perfectly fine again 10 seconds later, that's still pretty fragile justification for shooting an unarmed and unresisting man in the face. MIB must not have much of an internal affairs division. Stalin. Technically he's considered a good guy, because 51% of Russians believed in Stalin's methods, thus making him good. But the reality is he focused too much on the war, and has done horrible things to his people. The Griffin family from Family Guy. Peter is an abusive, malicious father who beats his friends, family, and people around him, but it's excused because he's stupid. Lois isn't just a nagging wife but also neglectful to her own kids and constantly cheats on Peter. Stewie is the most tolerable, but started off as an evil genius. Brian is a sociopath who is self-absorbed and delusional, but Quagmire already made a good rant on how Brian is a shitty person. Chris is just an idiot who jumps on the let's get Meg bandwagon. And Meg is as tolerable as Stewie but also got bad later in the show. Just about every character in Family Guy is a toxic person you never want to meet in real life. Cora formed the legend of Cora. She is unwilling to do the training she needs to learn airbending. She is unwilling to listen to anyone unless they agree with her. She takes justice into her own hands. She pushes away people who care and want to help. She expects to be free of consequences simply because she's the Avatar. Harry Potter. He constantly disobeys his teachers and does dumb shit, but gets away with it because he's on good terms with the headmaster. He's rich and popular because of who his parents were. He's not good at any school subjects, he just happens to be good at Quidditch. Basically he's a spoiled jock. Robin Hood. I wouldn't call it a good deed when you rob the rich just because they're wealthier than others. Imagine you started from the beginning, made money, made a business, improve yourself and your company. Worked hard to become who you are, and then some guy comes and takes all you gained for years in order to give it out to other people who mostly sit for all their lives and think you owe them cause they don't live like you. Not talking about the charity, it's a different case.
Metro Man. Someone expresses their opinions on him, and the Superman clone just says "and I love you too" random citizen like he doesn't actually care about the citizen. Elastic move would be "and I love you too, you priceless member of our community."